Welcome tuelimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii, tutumbuizwe sana mbalimbali, tujuzwe juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, tuwapa burudani kwa familia nzima.
Good evening, Matajiri wenzangu. My name is Likuyani Eli, and right in time for Shida za Matajiri, final episode of tonight's series, Shida za Matajiri. And of course, one and only Frida Nguku is here to discuss with me this emotive issue that we call Christmas shopping. Have you been shopping and sometimes you're wondering, nilingia hapa with 1,000 shillings and all of a sudden I just left with a nylon paper from the shop? Even though Kebs walisema hiyo kitu na neema it's not existing, some of us still walk out of that shopping center with nothing to show off their 1,000 shillings. So how do we manage our monies and how do we budget and shop for the Christmas season? Tajiri na shida yake yuko hapa, of course. Shida ya Tajiri. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening to you too, Tajiri mwenzangu. I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Eli?
Mi niko fine, thank you. Pesa tu ndio zinanisumbua.
Christmas ndio unategea. Pesa unapanga tu ya Christmas. How many days to Christmas, by the way? A month plus, a month and a week.
Actually,
days?
it's a month. It's a month for those who celebrate their Christmas on the 25th. It's actually a month.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a month from now. Tuko ndani.
Yes.
And shopping will be flying left, right, center. By the way, Frida, your
Yes.
plans of enjoying your Christmas this holiday, do we have anything to celebrate?
Yes, of course. Why not? Why not? Nike, mbona to celebrate? I mean, Christmas is here. We were brought up in family where Christmas has to be celebrated, and we have to travel to Shago. For us, that has to happen. So 24th we are there. Then at night we go to church, wake up, cook, dress up. Nguo tushaanza kununua, Christmas trees. We are all set for Christmas, especially because it's 1 month too. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know there will be people like you who will be in red, and it will be a Snowwell kind of evening, and you'll be singing to the tunes. But one thing that will be happening for sure, people will be eating chicken. Say chicken.
Chicken, kuku. Kwanza wewe, Mluya.
What else will you be eating for Christmas?
Mokimo, Eli. Mokimo is there.
Are
Chapati.
you telling me? Okay, Shafati. What else is on your menu, Frida? What else is on your menu?
In terms of eating, there's the eating, not to drink it. I almost said wine. My goodness. There's mokimo, there's chicken, there's chapati, there's of course vegetables, a little bit of that. Kuna minji zinakuanga because
Clearly, Frida, I can tell where you're coming from, and we're not going to have that discussion tonight because I want us to shop for a proper Christmas celebration. Nipe mbuzi kama 20 kilo. Are we there? Mbuzi, goat meat, ama ni sheep meat, goat meat, yes, matok.
20 kgs.
20 kgs. Wekelea hapo.
Eli.
Yes.
Unaenda how many are you again?
No, let's not start about how many. Let's now eat. Let's do shopping. I've started my shopping. Next.
20 kgs. Good. 1 kg is 600, Bob. How much is that?
Okay.
6,000 that's 12K.
Tumalizane na hapo. Let's go into something else. You'll be eating meat, another 20 kgs. People must know I've come from Nairobi. Weka kwa list.
Sawa, hiyo ni 10K.
Okay,
Hiyo tuko
sawa
22.
tuko
Tuko
22 na
22.
unajua my salary inachezea pale 25,000, so I'm still okay, right? Ah, tajiri, twende.
Utakula chapo
Chapati is
Eli.
still incoming. Chapati is still incoming. It's not there yet, but we are almost there. Okay. Chapati. My brother-in-law is 6 chapatis in one sitting. Hizo ni zake peke yake. Appetizer. So I need about 6 times
One
3.
bale. You need a whole bale.
Hesabu ya
Sawa.
haraka haraka. Watu
Tumefika
hesabu, send
23,500.
us. It's 23,500.
Mchana kwa 25 Eli. I have
No.
1,500 to go. Where are you? Have you traveled already? Where are you?
No, I've not traveled. I have a clear plan on how I'm going to travel. Wait for it. Frida, we
Okay.
have not done yet with the shopping. We cannot eat
Okay.
just nyama and eat. You are from this central region,
Chicken.
so we need some
Yes.
kawaru there. Nipe
Yes, of
waru.
course, because of Mokimo.
Another
Waru
20
tuweke
kilos.
moja.
Another 20 kilos waru.
Waru imeanguka ni 200. So uko
It cannot
sawa.
be 20 kilos, cannot be 200. Wewe unaishi wapi? Hiyo ni gorogoro moja ama ni nini? I'm talking about 20
Sinasema
kilos.
ile wait, the bucket is how many kgs kwani? The
We are
bucket
not
is
playing
20
there.
kgs.
It's Christmas. We have to spend. It's Christmas.
All right.
Please focus. We are not dealing with buckets.
Tatu.
We are dealing.
Let's call it 600, Bob. You are at 24 now.
At a fair price. At a
Yes.
fair price. Clearly, your neighbor must be supplying that. Okay. Let's see. You know, you cannot just fry these things with no kitungu. We call it, the spices.
The water view.
Yes.
My dad
Some
calls
of
them
us.
the water view.
Yes, and you know the water views, we have not had them throughout the year. So we cannot celebrate Christmas kienyeji. Nipe nyanya. Half a crate. Are we there?
Yes,
Half a
crate.
Yeah,
Nimeongeza.
nyanya is tomatoes, for those who know tomatoes. And then kuna onion. Then this onion. We haven't even touched on vileo. Vileo are those that we drink and partake. Just like the first miracle of Jesus Christ. Give us
And because
vileo.
of kids, we have sodas and juice. Don't forget
soda. We cannot play juice. Sisi ni watu tunakunywa healthy juices. So let's give us fresh juice. And we're not going to blend it. We are not blending this thing direct from that shop you've been shopping from. It's actually called Carrefour, but you people call it Carrefour. So from Carrefour, if you want to put in an French accent, is Carrefour. So you people call it Carrefour. Let's go to Carrefour. Juice. Are we there?
Yes.
But I have a perfect plan. I think we've exceeded my 25K. We haven't traveled yet.
27,300.
27,300. It's only 2,000 on top. No problem. You know what? I'm sure it got me, baby.
Tala is here. I mean, it's Christmas. We will find a way out. We'll find
and now
a way out.
they are hawking the lawns like somebody will be hawking groundnuts on the street. So now, tajiri mwenzangu, you know where we are at? We are shopping for Christmas. And my family comprises of 5 people.
Yeah.
Half of this food is going to be eaten on 24th.
Yeah, of course.
The rest of the half we will try to preserve it.
Yeah.
But because we have poor preservation methods, you know what will happen? The biggest problem that happens during this session, my dear, it's wastage. And I want us to address wastage. Twende kazi, Frida.
I feel like when it comes to Christmas, everyone is doing Christmas. It's one holiday that everyone, and I would say probably 99% out there, of course, Islam does not really celebrate Christmas, but 99% are celebrating Christmas. So we have this thing of, it's Christmas. During Christmas, we eat, we celebrate, we rejoice together, we travel, we do all this. But you're looking at Ellie's life, and then there's Frida's life. Ellie will take 20 kgs because Ellie's family has the grandfather had 4 wives. The 4 wives have kids. So the extended family is as big as 100. Then there's Frida, whose grandfather had 1 wife who had 1 child. Then the child now had my dad, and now my dad has me and 2 other siblings. So we are 7 of us. But now me, I'm thinking, why is Eli is going to Carrefour and taking a whole 7 chicken and taking a whole imgu mzima ya ng'ombe. And you're like, that means Eli is celebrating Christmas better than me, right? I mean, you got the money. So I need to kuendanisha hivi na Eli. So what I do is I also go to Carrefour, get Mshwari and add on to that, because my salary was 25, now I have 27, I have the 3K, and come with the whole mgu of, you know, meat and 7 chicken and bring, because Eli is doing that. And then we come and sit and cook. And then we eat 1 chicken and I have 6 left. Then we eat probably 3 kgs. I have a whole 10 left. So what happens? I have to dispose all that. I have to waste all that, because it was Christmas, and Christmas everyone celebrates. So I feel like Eli, we need, as we're going into Christmas, we need to think in terms of, yes, it's Christmas. How many people am I budgeting for? So budgeting is very key. That comes in. I'm budgeting for what? For how many people? And for how many days are these guys going to be home? Because there are guys who are going to work on 26, 27.
Yeah.
So if I'm having this food and I have it until 27, and they go back, then I'm left with food here. Where does it go? Let's budget. Let's think about budgeting and food. I think when we budget, we think money. We don't necessarily really think about food, because food is very key. So it goes to wastage, and January is here. And you're wondering, where did my money go, Eli?
Let me stick that on the idea of food budgeting and management. You know, when we're talking about the budgeting aspect, you're looking at how many people you intend to serve. That is very important. We live in a country, especially from my village, where when you meet on the table, you're not supposed to greet Aja. You greet what is in the middle. So when you start eating, there's a whole heap of mountain of ugali. And then there is this tiny pieces of meat, you know, arranged in very nice cubes that you're supposed to partake. But because it's Christmas, you change the menu. It's this much ugali and this much rice. And then on top of that, there is this much chicken. So for this family that somebody will have a few grams of meat on a normal occasion, he's now eating a whole 1 kilo to celebrate Christmas. And I'm looking at him and I'm wondering, what are you celebrating? What achievements are you celebrating, dude? You've been sleeping all the way lazy in Nairobi, asking your cousin from the other city to send you a few coins to push you through the year. What are you celebrating? Well, it's not an offense in any way to celebrate. But then, where does the food budgeting comes into play? Now, that is one aspect. The other aspect is now management of the same food that you've bought. You've talked about the wastage aspect. Mind you, now that we are MAA-TAJIRI, we've discovered fridge. And for us, fridge preserves everything until eternity. We don't know that either that fridge, the frequent opening and closing of that door
is an issue.
Reduces the lifespan of that meal that you have actually saved in that fridge. And again, we also, go ahead.
And also remember at that particular moment when you guys are home, because Christmas is again family and, you know, extended family coming together. So many of you are doing the opening and closing. We don't even know when chapos are done, when beef is done, because someone has been going back and forth. So when you're doing that, of course, your hair wine, everything is happening. And then before you know it, 2 days down the line, and there are those, especially you men, sorry to say this, you go to the fridge and take a spoon and you walk, come back again.
You want to test and see if the salt is still tasting great.
Tell us, do you have brothers who go to the fridge and they open and they get in? Wanaumia food up wakiendanga. So the spoon that I've already used is the one that is dipping and doing all that. So at the end of it all is spoiled food. 2 days down the line, you can't eat it. So now, dogi ziko hapo. Christmas dogi zina tajirika, zinakuwa matajiri.
So that's one aspect. That means how you behave with that already resource that you have. But now there's another aspect is I will highly advocate for giving portions. And portions, I mean, let's say we are 10 of us in the home, okay?
Mhm.
A normal serving will have a quarter of a meat, okay? A quarter of kg of meat or beef or whatever you want to call it. And then in every serving, at least I have, if I extend, 250 grams, because ni
Oh.
sherehe tunapiga, okay? So I'm
Mhm.
trying to imagine if we are 20 of us, for every kilo, we need to serve at least 4 people. At least. Normal. But because our appetites have gone beyond the roof, that is, it will take us another, let's say, 10 kilos, so that everybody is having half a kilo.
A kilo.
Almost. So
Yeah.
what we're gonna do at the end of the day is we want to portion this meal, put it in some partition. If you're gonna
That makes
cook this meal in
Mhm.
bulk, so that you want to save on fuel or energy for that resource, and probably because you want to spend more time together as family, then prepare them and store them in portions and
Portions. That makes
freeze
sense.
them up.
Yeah.
Because once
That
you
makes
set
a
them
lot
in the
of
fridge,
sense.
yeah, once they're in your fridge,
Now,
there's that
Mhm.
ability of opening and closing, and then bam, your food is going to spoil. So you've not been able to carefully manage that resource that you have. Now, I know you have other ideas that you want to bring in, but allow me to give one more, Frida.
Mhm.
Shopping for Christmas doesn't have to happen on the eve of Christmas. But
Yeah.
that's one thing we struggle with as
Yeah.
Matajiri, last minute shopping. What do you say of that, Frida?
When you do last minute shopping, first of all, you're shopping with excitement. Let's start there. And someone taught me, and it's come to finances, don't shop when you're excited and don't shop when you're hungry. It doesn't matter what it is that you're shopping for. Every time you shop when you're excited or when you're hungry, you overshop. By the way, nani hungry and jar, you overshop. So when you shop on the eve or probably 3 days to one, places are, everyone is full, is occupying every place, shopping and doing everything. So you're going to waste a lot of time, which is something you want to save. Two, you are going to pay very expensively, because I mean it's Christmas, everyone's celebrating, so the prices of goods go high. So something you used to buy for 90 goes to 100, 110 or 105, and you feel like, it's just 15. It's just 15 bob. But it's 15 for 10. That's 150. Or probably it's 5. It's 5 for 100. That's 500 bob on top. So let's think in terms of, let me shop early. Now, by now, people should have shopped for Christmas. Those who want to go really and celebrate with the broader family. Because when you get to 24th, 20th, G21, hey, that's the time you find there's no Jogo and you only take Jogo. You find there's not this brand of what, and that's what you consume. So avoid shopping last minute to save on that one coin that you call one coin that adds up to 1,000,000, that adds up to 1,000.
Great. You know, when we talk about shopping, Frida, people imagine it's only the aspect of meals, clothes, and all that. You can actually be shopping for your travel tickets.
Yes.
When do
Another
you shop
thing.
for? Yeah, especially if you have to shuffle with flights or for because matatus cannot be preserved on time, especially for those people who do very short distance. If you're doing flights, when is the most advisable time to fly? According to you, when is the most advisable time to pay your ticket?
I would say 3 weeks before traveling. How right am I?
That could be close. My experience has shown me otherwise. I know people will say 1 year, but I don't find it funny to shop for 1 year in advance.
Wow.
I always, you have to like you go and do window shopping for your clothes and whatsoever items. You actually can window shop for flight tickets. It's one thing that can come in handy, and you can do that by going to
Ellie, wait a
websites.
minute.
Yes.
People don't window shop for flights, imagine. Do people really do that? Rarely do they do that. Because I'm going to Mombasa, I mean, it's not really far. So, or maybe I'm going to Kisumu from Nairobi. It's not really far. So, do we really, for people actually do window shopping for flights, are people who they do it the last minute. It's always the last minute. Like it's 2 weeks, it's a week 2 or 3 days 2. You're like, let me compare prices. But that's not the right time to actually do that. But 1 year is also, again, 1 year is so spread. I might decide not to actually travel. 1 year is too much. But I agree with you. As we window shop for what I want to buy, like even clothes, I should actually also window shop for my travel to be able to range and get to know who is offering what.
And sometimes the other aspect is you could be window shopping for your prices, especially for travels. Huh? You can look at two options. Either you want to do air or you want to do by road. And when you do, for example, you have a big family. By big family, I'm talking about 4 and above. For 4 and above, you can look at what distance do you want to cover, for example. Are you traveling long distance? If you're going, let's say you want to travel all the way from Nairobi to Mombasa. When is the most appropriate time to travel? Is it just before the Christmas Eve? Is it a week before? And you see, these are the things that airlines will play along with, because they are looking at, oh, the schools are now closed. So this is what people are looking for. Until recently, a lot of companies that hire out vehicles for self-drive were not really paying attention to that. But since every Tajiri decided they can drive home to show how well they are doing in the city, everybody's hiring a car. So during that time, you find that the prices equally go up. So what would I advise? Go ahead.
Before you even advise, now that you've mentioned that, there's a friend of mine who is actually coming to Kenya, and she wants to hire a car between 26th to 1st for 7 days to, I think, that. So she wanted specifically Prado, and it has to be KD something. And right now, hiring a Prado at today, like this week and next week, it's around 8K per day, 8,000 Kenya shillings. But now, if you extend to the 26, 27, going to that, it goes to 15.
True.
It goes to 15. It's the same Prado. You're getting the same person who is giving you his Prado. But because now it's 26, 27, 28, going to that, then it goes from all the way from 9, 10K to 15. There's a whole 7, 6, 5K on top of the same car that you've gotten for 8. Now you're getting it for 15. So yes, people are taking note of time. So yeah, budget for that too.
So as you budget that, these are my proposals. Look at the options you have. You could actually find sometimes taking that flight would be cheaper. And people will crucify me, tell me how. Yes, of course. You've just mentioned a Prado that is going for 8,000 right now. And during that Christmas period, it will be going for anything between 15K to 18K. Believe me, you. But you haven't fueled that car.
Yes. And probably if you don't know how to drive, if you're coming from where you want a driver, that's another driver.
That's another driver. And you're paying, take or leave it, 15,000 every single day.
Yes.
For those 10 days, that's 150,000 Kenyan shillings. Yes. Now, haujapiga sherehe na familia, hujasumbua watu nyumbani uonyeshe watu you are doing well. So you're going to spend a few more boxes here and there trying to, fuel this car. So ideally, what I'm trying to point out is you might actually save loads of money paying for that 10,000 one-way ticket on flight than actually hiring a Prado for 1 day. But this is very subjective. It depends on the seasons, okay? So if
also it depends on where you're going.
Exactly.
It depends
I was
on where
looking at the 10. I was looking at the 10 at the 4 members of the family, and I'm looking at 40K, for example. And I said, for example, you're leaving Nairobi to go to Mombasa. I'm very specific on the choice of location. Okay. So there are other available, or you'll hear, oh, we are overbooked, or this kind of stuff. Yeah. Sometimes it is just on how you decide to plan. So if you think taking a car from Nairobi to Mombasa will be cheaper for you after adding the fueling cost and all that, so roast yourself. Good for you. But again, if you opt to buy a shoe that cost you 70,000 shillings to repay you for all the good things you did during the year, like Willis Raburu, don't crucify him.
Do you? But as you buy the shoe, and this is something we need to remember, as we look at people buying shoes for 70K, others buying them for 7K, and we're thinking, why would I buy a shoe for 2K? I mean, the highest, kiatu kifika tao, tumemalizana. Anyway, remember we have different financial situations. So you also have to have that in mind, because I feel like we get carried away by what everyone is doing, and we tend to now be carried with that. And then it gets to Christmas, you have a 70,000 shoe, But again, you can't, the next rent, which is January 20 something or 5th, you don't even have rent because you bought a shoe. And now you have a shoe that probably I don't even recognize what brand it is.
No,
So don't be carried away. Think about your financial situation and plan with that or manage that. Another thing, Ellie, before you come in, yeah, it's Christmas, yes, it's time to celebrate with family, it's time to travel. If you're thinking of going for vacation, because people do that a lot, and you want to do it in this Christmas time, I would suggest you could go the same place in January, use less amount of money and still celebrate if your workflow, of course, allows you to do that. You can avoid the Christmas because Christmas rates are very high when it comes to Airbnbs, when it comes to vacations and hotels. But if you take the same hotel, January 15th, it's probably half the price. So if you can budget that and be doing your celebration when not everyone is celebrating, then good for you. You save yourself a coin.
goes back to the simple business lessons we learned back in school that was talking about demand and supply. When the demand is high, the supply is low, and therefore the prices are higher. Remember that, because as Christmas comes, must you really travel to your family for Christmas? I'll be hearing people saying, I'm driving home for Christmas. And then, enjoying themselves with that Kanaiza stereo going on. Thing is, it's okay to spend time with family. It's okay.
It's good, actually.
It's okay. It's good. That's the whole
But does
essence.
it have to
But
be
at
on
the end of the day,
Christmas?
at what cost? At
Yeah.
what cost? That reminds me, we often celebrate mothers on Mother's Day. Then throughout the year, we forget that these mothers actually eat. Just saying, no pun intended. But let's agree on one thing, that as we go shopping for Christmas and shopping for enjoying the affluence of life, because it has been a long year and next year is your year, because your pastor is going to pray for you on the 31st of January, of December, and you will cross over the new year. Remember, the 40 days of January will be arriving.
Yeah, the 72 days.
Oh, there are 72. Ziliongezeka. Sorry about that. I thought Tajiris are more arranged. But as you've said, there'll be 72 days of January. And school fees must be paid. Let me remind guys what will happen next year, so that we remember. And I'm talking specifically about Kenya. Kenya will be going into election.
Yeah.
As Kenya goes into election, we have this strange way of managing our budget. All of a sudden, there's no money. The only money we are having are those tips from politicians. You know them, right? You've been receiving them for some time now. And then the prices of everything will be absolutely ridiculous. As you're speaking now, gas is becoming too expensive to manage. Okay?
Too high.
And then there'll be school fees to be paid.
Yeah. And nowadays kids are going to school for 2 months and they're back home and they're asking for
2 months. They are going to for 2.5 weeks and they are back and like, yeah, tuko na holiday ya siku nusu. And you're like, midterm, yeah, na school fees mpya next week. So a new semester is there. So put things into perspective. Let's remember one thing, that Christmas is not the end of life. And neither it will not be the first one, nor the last Christmas. Parting shot, madam.
Wow, Christmas is not an emergency, has never been. It's going to be there next year. We have one in 1 month, it's going to be there again in another 1 year, 1 month. So remember that. Budget. Budgeting means you're planning, considering your financial situations and where you are at, looking at what you want to achieve. So budget. And when you get there again, manage whatever you've budgeted. Because if you're able to buy enough foods and you have them, then know how you can preserve that so that it can serve you for 3 days and not necessarily 1 day, and then you're back to your budgeting and buying more and wasting more money. You don't have to waste. You don't have to travel during Christmas. It can wait. But again, if you have the ability to do so, do you. Thank you.
Dear Matajiri, as we shop for Christmas, I wish you the very best of holidays. I can't wait to see you guys next year in this very, very space, because Nguku and I have agreed that we'll be doing a thing here, a thing there, just to make you guys be in check when it comes to your cash and all that, because we equally want to know how to use our monies respectively on what they actually need to be spent on. At the end of the day, we ain't asking you not to sherekea. After all, sisi wa Kenya tunapenda sherehe na huwa hatupangwangwi. So usipangwe na msee, but above all usipangwe na umaskini, kwa sababu Tajiri's most renowned wordings right here on TheArtsinHeart ni kwamba mimi ni tajiri na tuko na matajiri wenzetu in the den. Twende nyumbani na Mbukinya na wamama wamebeba jerrycans imejaa kwa gari. Haye, Papa Lumumba ameuliza haitawezekana. This is a no. For everybody else that came to the discussion tonight, thank you so much. We can't wait to have you again next year. Frida Nguku always making this thing more knowledgeable than I thought. Kwa sababu at the end of the day, we seek to engage, converse with you when we're talking about educating and informing and entertaining you. Sherehe, tuichape. See you next year, Maze. Above all, God bless all of you guys. And thank you for subscribing and hitting that subscription button. Tuonane.